Hello and welcome back to All Things Money. I'm your host for the show, David Blain. During the first two segments today, we talked about the high-frequency trading quants and how I encourage people to stay away from that sort of activity. If you missed it, please go to the website, www.dlblain.com. There you'll find archives, copies of the show, and it's quite an interesting show, I think so, on the $2,000 a month for 6 square feet of space so that these traders can trade away. Anyway, it's good stuff. Go on the web and listen to it if you missed it. Now back to a little bit something that may hit home to more of you. This was a piece that came out back somewhere around the middle of June by the guy by the name of Michael Pinto, and it's about the extinction of retirement. And this is something that I think people need to really pay attention to. So many people coming out of, say, World War II, this notion of, working for 30 years for a company and then just sort of hanging, your briefcase up or your work boots up after 30 years or so, and then, retiring and, playing golf or whatever, is really sort of an illusion of the Western world. And to think that someone that's going to live until 90 years old can be completely unproductive in society for 30 years is frankly a silly notion. And I think as we look at some of the things that are going on today, the sooner we realize this, it's not just the United States, it's Western Europe, it's Japan, and you just cannot have people be unproductive in society for that long, and there's certainly no reason that people cannot continue to be productive into their older years. It used to be people were extremely productive, until the day that they passed away, and for some reason, at some point, people feel like it's their right to just stop working and stop contributing to society. Now, this is not to say that any contract or guarantee that those people had should certainly be honored, but I'm talking about going forward to solving some of the problems. And so for the better part of a century, people have relied on real estate and equity prices, positive real interest rate on savings, the solvency of public and private pensions, and the reliability of Social Security and Medicaid or Medicare. And the past several years have revealed many cracks in this theory in all those areas. And so the traditional idea of a comfortable retirement, with golfing and fishing, is going away. And the sooner that people realize that, I think the sooner off that we'll all be better. If we look at the last decade of income and job growth, it's really stagnated, causing savings rates to drop. According to the author Jim Quinn, 60% of retirees have less than $50,000. That will not last long at all, especially when consumer prices are up over 3% the past year. With any savings put in a bank, of course, you're earning nothing on those savings. And so with virtually no savings and virtually no income to be earned on those savings in a savings account, that's certainly not a good way to go. The Ponzi-like structure of Social Security and Medicare, we've seen the flaws with that. The positive demographics are the only thing that keep those going. And if you look at Western Europe and some of those places that have falling birth rates, they just cannot be sustained. And so insolvency is becoming a real and present danger. In 2008, according to the Social Security Administration, Social Security provided 50% of all income for 64% of recipients and 90% of income for 34% of all beneficiaries. People are just way too reliant on these programs to have virtually no savings, no source of income, and attempt to retire. Now, I understand that some people get old and injured or disability or things like that, but there's no way that 64% of America should be relying on Social Security for half of their income. And so in the past, of course, retirees could count on the stock market for a windfall gain. And realistically, that was really in the 80s. If you were retiring in the 70s, this certainly was not the case. The markets were definitely down then. And what we've already said is that investing in the markets is a way to grow your savings. It's not a way to, quote, make money. People think that, oh, I invest in the market and that's, a way to make money. No, it's a way to grow your savings at a rate faster than inflation is the key. The same thing with real estate. People have this misguided notion that real estate, could never fall and that your home was this, fantastic type investment. Well, we see now that according to the Case-Shiller National Home Price Index has declined to some 30%, at least. In some areas, prices are still falling. The national index dropped another 4.2% in the first quarter of 2011. And so this notion that, your home is going to bail you out is just simply incorrect. I've always said that some people are frankly better off renting, that home ownership is a great thing for America and society, but some people just aren't, it's not necessary. There's nothing wrong with renting a home. And as we move to public and private pension plans, of course, we all know the problem that states are in. According to the American Enterprise Institute, states report their public employee pensions are underfunded by a total of $438 billion. Other estimates have this number up at $3 trillion. And so whatever the case, a couple of billion here, a couple of trillion there, the fact is the matter is a huge, huge problem that people should not be counting so much on public and private pensions. And so the real estate market is, still in decline. The stock market is still in decline. Real incomes are falling. Pension plans are insolvent. And people just need to realize that most retirees are not going to be able to have that same dream of golfing and fishing all day. And the sooner that we accept this fact, the sooner I think we'll get back on track to where we need to be. And it's just a simple demographic fact that you cannot have large segments of society as unproductive. Even in older generations, the elders were always a productive member of society. They were well respected. They weren't out just relaxing all day. So anyway, it was a good article. Brings up some very timely issues. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. I hope you've enjoyed it and that you will join us again next week. So for All Things Money, my name is David Blain.
The proceeding was a paid program. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of WNBU and Inner Banks Media.